Little Hands, Big Attitude Book 5 The Thief and the Sleeper Chapter 15. So here's the thing. We can't keep this up. We have to think about what's best for the colony. Just give her one more chance. I know she can with a little help. You and I both know she can't. Look at her, the only time she'd be able to hunt is when we don't. You can't expect me to dash. I am asking you to, or else both of you will starve come spring. Forgive me, love. Rouge wanted to cover her ears, to block out the voices of her past. Her colony, her whole colony, up and gone. She was just a child, how could they do that to her? How could the guild do that to her? How could Shadow? No. No. Shadow hadn't left her, he had made sure she knew where he was and that he'd be back. No. This wasn't Shadow's fault, it was that human's fault. Stone. This was his fault.
Somebody help!
She shrieked, her voice echoing off of the walls of her metal cell as she kicked at the walls, trying to get free. Whatever Stone had used to knock her out had been solid, she could still feel and hear in her ears the firm thunk her head had made when it made contact. She was cold, so cold, she had to stay awake. Dark, cold, empty darkness, shivering, shaking, dogs barking in the distance. Wait. Dogs barking? Shadow. Rouge's eyes opened, finding the darkness lift a little. The air around her was warmer, and smelled vaguely of sterilizing chemicals. She tried to move, but her entire body was still stiff and ached even as she tried to take in a deep breath, and her head was pounding like a drum.
Will she be okay?
She appears to be stable. Her vitals are slowly moving up into normal ranges. I think she'll be just fine, Blaze. Though the fact that she was sealed in one of Robotnik's machines can't be good news.
Do you believe he is back?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Voices, young voices, and one that seemed almost motherly in tone, whispered in her ears. She was inside somewhere. Was it a home? Had someone rescued her? Why? What did they want with her?
Hey, how are you feeling? Can you hear me?
The voice came from somewhere else in the room, but where? It sounded like the girl she'd heard, the one named Blaze. Her ears pricked as she picked up movement, and then she saw the silhouette of a shape tiptoeing towards her, a cat from her world.
You! It is all right.
The cat sat down beside her.
Miss Maddie and Miss Allison believed it would be less stressful if the first person you encountered when waking was closer to your kind than human. I am Blaze.
What where?
You are safe now. My brother found you out in the snow, and brought you here to the clinic, where our guardian and her friends could tend to you. They said you were going into something called hibernation.
A clinic, like a vet clinic? That would explain the sterile smell and the distant barking of dogs, but it was still concerning. What kind of tests did these humans do on her while she was out of it? But most importantly,
Where is Shadow?
Blaze's ears pricked, and then she shook her head.
We do not know just yet. Abe said that there are agents out in the woods searching for him, but it is far too dangerous for us to go out looking ourselves.
The darkness then lessened as the door on the other side of the room opened, and Rouge winced at the sudden light in her eyes, shutting them tightly.
Sorry, sweetheart.
A feminine voice cooed, and then the light faded again and Rouge opened her eyes once more to see a woman with curly, honey-colored hair bend down beside Blaze.
Nice to see you're not blind or deaf, though. We were worried about that.
Why?
Your fur. White fur often comes along with either one or both of those conditions.
Rouge's ears folded back a little, and she shoved her head deeper into the large dog bed she'd been laid on. It didn't appear to have been used, which she was grateful for.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you upset. I think it's beautiful.
It's not. It's not pretty or beautiful, just a curse.
Do not think that. I too have traits that I do not care for, but I would never consider them a curse.
Did your traits make your whole colony abandon you when you were a toddler? What good is a bat with white fur? They can't blend in with the darkness and hunt right.
And yet, you've survived this long. That means you're a fighter, and that they were wrong.
Miss Allison, She is a friend of Shadow's. I am worried for him even more knowing that he is out there all alone.
Blaze wrapped her arms around herself.
It is unfortunate that our presence here makes the human government so agitated.
I love that you want everyone to be safe and sound, Blaze.
Miss Allison put an arm around the cat.
It demonstrates a lot about your character. Do you have a name?
Rouge.
Red in French?
Yeah, my mama said I was born screaming in rage and red as a rose.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Rouge.
Rouge clenched her teeth, and then unfolded her wings entirely and lifted herself into a sitting position.
Ouch!
Do not overexert yourself. You are still recovering from nearly freezing.
Don't remind me. I have to find Shadow before Stone does.
Stone?
He's some guy that works for another guy called Robotnik.
Robotnik.
Allison's tone was nearly a growl, and Blaze ducked behind the woman, her fur puffing up.
Is he back?
No. Stone said he was on some sabbatical. You're familiar with him, though.
He tried to blow our town off the map with a mega mech powered by the Master Emerald. Yeah, we know.
That was what Stone wanted Shadow to get for him.
Blaze looked up to Allison.
Then it was Shadow who entered Miss Maddie and Mr. Tom's home last night. Ozzy must have startled him, and he fled. We must alert the others of this.
Agreed.
Allison stood up and went to the door.
You to stay here.
Rouge fought to get up to her feet.
I'm coming with you.
Rouge.
You said I'm a fighter.
The bat pulled herself up and stood up straight.
I can make it.
Stone slammed his fist on the console. He'd lost both of them now. The entire region had become swallowed in this glowing, low-level haze of the energy Shadow had been putting out, not enough to affect the machinery, but enough to cloak Shadow's signal. He didn't know where it was coming from, but based on the lack of focus to the gun agent's movement through the trees, it seemed to be preventing them from finding Shadow either. If Shadow left the haze, then Stone could follow, but for now, he was very much invisible, and not a sound had been heard from him since he'd approached the Wachowski house. A ping from the capsule had also alerted him that it had been opened, which meant either the bat had figured out how to get loose from inside or someone else had freed her, and unlike the way Shadow had been, she wasn't giving off a radiant pulse of chaos energy. There was no way to track her. A severe error on his part. He should have kept the capsule close by and guarded. No matter, he had a feeling he knew exactly where to check for her. Once she was out of the way, then he could refocus on Shadow. He was out there and still wounded from whatever injury was ailing him. He couldn't run very fast on his own, and he was more interested in avoiding the gun agents wandering the woods than Stone. Still, Stone looked at the notes written of Project Shadow's behavior prior to the Ark incident. Energy manipulation, strength, speed, vicious aggression towards others. Everything checked out except for the aggression part. This little hedgehog hadn't seemed vicious or aggressive in the slightest, barely even grumpy. Was that a result of his time in the capsule? Had the scientists of the past tried to quell that behavior, following what he'd uncovered was an attempt on one scientist's life? It seemed that the project hadn't liked Dr. Walters for some reason, snapping and nearly taking the man's arm with it. 50 years was plenty of time to try and rewire Project Shadow's head. Had that all been erased, leaving behind this confused, childish hedgehog who seemed more interested in seeing the world than subduing it? No matter. There had to be a way to bring that back to the surface. He just had to remember what he'd been put through, the horrors of his adversaries. Stone pressed a button.
Drones, search the woods for the signature, maintain stealth mode, and report any findings.
He, meanwhile, was going to make sure that Plan B was operational. He turned towards the back of the RV, his eyes falling on the large, metal framing as it currently rested in sleep mode.
Your turn will come.
Miss Maddie, she is awake.
Blaze's urgent voice caught the woman's attention, and she turned to see the young bat was waving off Allison's attempts to help her as she limped down the hall.
Rouge, this is Maddie.
Maddie bent down to her level.
Well, hello, Rouge. How are you feeling?
That doesn't matter. I'm well enough to help.
Help?
She was traveling with Shadow before they were attacked by Robotnik's companion Stone.
Blaze explained as Sonic and Silver popped up from behind the table and walking around the table towards Rouge. The bat seemed quite surprised to see the two hedgehogs, taking a step back.
Please, don't be frightened. We're not going to harm you.
Yes. Silver is my brother, and Sonic is a friend.
So how many like us are there in this town?
Silver counted on his fingers for a moment.
Including you. 7. Sonic, his 3 brothers, and then the 3 of us.
8 if we include Shadow. Wow, maybe he'd actually be safe here then.
I don't know about that. The human government doesn't even know about Silver or Blaze yet. And me and my brothers are skating on thin ice, as it is.
You said you were with Shadow before Stone?
Maddie redirected the conversation. A proper get-to-know-me session might have to wait.
Right. I was the one who broke him out of his stasis nap. My original intentions for it weren't the best, but we've smoothed it over, I think.
We were headed this way because Shadow said he could see this big, green glow coming from here and some voice told him to go to Green Hills.
That'd be here, but a green glow weird. Maybe Tails can figure it out.
Anyways, we ran into Stone before we actually got to Green Hills.
He told Shadow some story about how the government attacked the lab where Shadow was created and killed a bunch of people trying to get to Shadow, including the grandfather of some guy named Robotnik who Stone works for, sketchy last name, by the way. He told us to go to a storehouse to collect this giant gem for him, but when we got there, it wasn't a storehouse.
It was our house?
Right. The whole thing seemed sketch from the start, and Shadow sorta agreed with me. Shadow had me on lookout while he went in, but then something went wrong. I was going to fly in and pull him out, but then I got a nasty hit to the back of the head and woke up inside that prison thing. I had a feeling that Stone wanted me out of the picture so he could have Shadow for himself, but that's going a bit far.
So he's got Shadow somewhere and trying to nab the Master Emerald back.
Sonic clenched his fists.
That's enough info for me.
Not so fast, mister.
Maddie scolded, waving a firm motherly finger at her son.
You are still very, very grounded from earlier.
But Mom...
No but.
The blue hedgehog pouted, and then Maddie got up and took a flashlight from the counter.
Speaking of, I want to check and make sure you don't have a concussion from that hit, Rouge.
The bat frowned, but didn't argue as she shone the light into her eyes.
We still need to hurry. Shadow's leg's injured so he can't run, and he's been having these moments where he forgets where and who he is. I'm worried that was what happened back at your house, and that's what caused him to bolt.
I'm betting Ozzy didn't help things either.
How are we supposed to find him? Stone might have him anywhere by now, and that was hours ago?
That's what I was going to tell you.
Rouge replied, wincing a bit as Maddie shone the light into her left ear.
I can hear things.
Hear things like voices? Can you see dead people?
Wow. Take it down a notch. Chuck Norris.
It was Bruce Willis.
Same thing.
Is not. You don't get to disrespect classics like The Sixth Sense.
Kids, please, continue, Rouge.
I mean, I can hear things that happened a long time ago. Like I could come back into this room hours from now and hear this conversation all over again. It's like the voices are baked into the walls of places and I can draw them out later.
So,
if I go back to your house, I can listen and figure out where Shadow went after he left your house last night.
Maddie looked back to Allison, who gave her the same uncomfortable look.
Okay, but Silver and Blaze, you stay here with Allison. Sonic, Rouge, and I will head back to the house and see what we can find.
Sounds like a plan.
Rouge looked out towards the hall.
We need to hurry. Who knows what Shadow's going through right now?